Sure.
Islam Makhachev was seen pushing through a relentless training camp, showcasing his unmatched drive with intense non-stop workouts. However, Craig Jones believes Islam Makhachev is in for one of his toughest tests yet. He pointed to Makhachev's first fight with Volkanovski as proof that Islam can struggle with elite scrambling, and said Jack Della Maddalena brings even more unpredictability in his grappling and grip breaks.
I think it's a super difficult fight for Islam, this one. He's like, obviously he's faced Volk twice. We'll forget about the second one, but the first one, very competitive with the grappling. And now we're talking about he's facing a guy that's some of the best scrambling ability, I think, period, in all of MMA, and some of the most unorthodox grappling. And I think that's what Belal struggled with. Belal really just sticks to a blueprint. The blueprint obviously works very well.
Craig added that Jack's creativity makes him far harder to prepare for than someone like Belal Muhammad, who sticks to a strict game plan. He also mentioned that the size difference could surprise people and sees this as the kind of wild, striking heavy fight the UFC loves.
But in terms of creativity in what Belal does, I think it's pretty strict. Jack, as you saw in that fight, some of his off balances and grip breaks and some of the things he does, it's really hard to prepare for that. So I think like Islam, the size difference is going to be quite a lot bigger than people think. And we've seen how Volk did on the ground and how much Islam struggled with him in the grappling exchanges. And having seen Jack and Volks work together, seeing the skill sets, like this is a perfect one. The UFC want guys that stand and bang. I'm trying to still help them out even though potentially enemy.
Moreover, Jorge Masvidal spoke openly about the potential clash between Islam Makhachev and Jack Della Maddalena, calling it a high-stakes battle. He acknowledged Islam's size, saying the champ cuts a lot of weight to make 155 and might even perform better at welterweight. But despite Islam's strength and intelligence, Masvidal said Jack is special, and if he beats Islam, he deserves to be considered the #1 pound-for-pound fighter in the world.
I've seen Islam, bro. He's a big guy. He's sucking out a lot of weight to get to 55. I think he might start doing better at 70. Problem is though, Jack is special. We're gonna see just how special he is if he beats Islam Jack, #1 pound for, wow, that's impressive, you know?
While Jorge leaned slightly toward Islam, he made it clear the fight won't be easy. He noted that Jack defended takedowns from Belal Muhammad, who has elite cardio, but emphasized that Islam's technique and wrestling are on another level. Jorge pointed out Jack's superior striking, speed, and power early on, but believes if Islam can weather the storm and drag the fight into the later rounds, his experience and grappling IQ might turn the tide.
I'm leaning towards Islam, brother.
Oh, really?
You know, but I really think it's gonna be a tough fight for him, but a great fight, man.
Jack was able to defend takedown attempts by Belal.
Belal has the best cardio in MMA, but Belal doesn't have Islam's technique. Not same technique, not same. Very good, very aggressive. Belal never stops a dog. Attack. But Islam is like smart, man. Boom. You know, Islam's level of wrestling is above. His stand-up game is improving. I don't think he could go stand-up in the beginning with Jack. Jack has way better hands, way better range, faster, stronger. But as the rounds go on later and later, he could do.
However, Islam Makhachev's training camp is known for its intensity and discipline, focused on pushing both physical and mental limits. Surrounded by elite Dagestani wrestlers and guided by coach Javier Mendez, Islam sharpens his grappling, endurance, and fight IQ daily. His sessions often include relentless sparring, high-altitude conditioning, and strategic drills tailored for each opponent. During pad training, Makhachev works tirelessly on precision and timing, blending his striking with seamless takedown setups. His combinations are clean, efficient, and purposeful, reflecting constant improvement in stand-up skills. The focus is not just power, but smart movement, accuracy, and control, making him a complete fighter.
Sure.
Moreover, Craig Jones said he feels very confident in Islam Makhachev, admitting he once underrated him, but now sees him as one of the best ever. He noted Islam might be lighter than usual, raising questions about the size difference at 170, but still believes Islam could dominate and submit Jack if needed.
You feel confident about this one?
Yeah, very, very confident for this one.
You think Islam stays at 170 after this, or do you think he goes back down?
I mean, yeah, good question. I don't know what he's weighing. Like, I think he was posting that he was pretty light, so I'm not sure how he's going to deal with that size difference. I think, obviously, worst case scenario, he goes out ragdolls, potentially submits Jack. I think he's probably going to stay.
You think Ilya beats him?
Who knows with that guy? That guy surprises me every time, eh?
He's incredible, right?
Yeah, I was too hard on him at the beginning. I think I watched some of his fights and just didn't think he was that good. And then, like, I was like, oh, all right. God damn, it's one of the best ever, I think.
Yeah, he's unbelievable.
Finally, Craig Jones said that if Jack beats Islam, it puts Islam in a tough spot, especially with Ilia Topuria waiting for a title shot at 155. He joked that losing to Jack might force Islam to earn his way back to a title fight, but admitted the outcome depends on how dominant Jack's performance is.
Puts Islam in a difficult position. Does he now go back down to fight Ilia after he loses? I know Ilia make jokes. He's like, oh, if you lose to Jack, you have to re-earn the shot of the title. But yeah, I think I really like Ilia's waiting for that fight, and it all is determined by how good a performance Jack does.
However, new footage shows Islam Makhachev intensely drilling his wrestling, focusing on takedowns, chain wrestling, and testing himself against heavier partners to prepare for the welterweight jump. The sessions highlight his effort to adapt his style without losing speed or control, reinforcing that his world-class grappling remains a key weapon. Islam Makhachev is pushing himself to the limit in training, knowing the challenge Jack Della Maddalena presents. His camp is intense, blending non-stop wrestling drills, sharp striking work, and elite sparring. Surrounded by top-tier coaches and partners, Islam is preparing with full focus and urgency for the test ahead. Stephen Thompson discussed the difficulties Islam Makhachev could face at welterweight, pointing out that many fighters in the division walk around much heavier than Islam. He noted that although Jack Della Maddalena isn't much taller, the strength gap might be significant. Thompson praised Islam's grappling, but reminded that Jack has faced strong wrestlers like Bilal Muhammad. He sees the fight as tough for Islam, but hopes it gets booked.
I don't know, man. I mean, when you're going up to the welterweight division, those are some big boys. And I know Islam Makhachev walks around fairly heavy, but a lot of these 170s, they walk around real heavy. I'm talking about, over 205, 210 to the 215. Some of the guys that I've faced would walk around at that weight. I think like the height, I think they might be the same height. I think JDM might be a little taller, but when it comes to those guys and their strength, Islam, I think, is going to have a tough time. Now, do I think he could get it done? Yes. I think he's that good of a grappler. But like I said, JDM has faced some of the best welterweight grapplers and wrestlers in the division. Islam, Bilal being one of them. I think it's going to be a tough night for him. I would like to see Islam fight Topuria. That's just me. I would love to see that fight happen. But if he comes up, we'll see what the UFC gets behind. And we all know you got to convince the UFC to make it happen. And you do that first by getting on Twitter, shouting it out, and get people talking about it. And that's what Islam did. So we'll see if that fight happens with JDM.
Ali Abdelaziz confirmed Islam will fight for the full welterweight title this year. If Jack can't defend, the belt will be vacated and Islam will face a replacement. UFC leadership has already approved the plan.
When will it happen, Islam and Jack?
Islam fighting for the title this year. The non-interim title, a title. Jack Maddalena is the champion, but if Jack is not available, it will be someone else fighting Islam for the title. That's what the UFC told me. That's what Dana told me. That's what Hunter said. Everybody said that, and that was one of the stipulations. If Islam go up, Jack get injured, and I hope he's healthy, and he seemed like he's healthy. This title will be vacated, and Islam will fight for welterweight.
Coach Javier Mendez said Jack may or may not be Islam's hardest test, but confirmed Islam is eager and fully prepared. He praised Islam's work ethic and said moving to 170 fits him well physically. Mendez believes fans will see Makhachev at his absolute best.
You know, it's hard to say. It's hard to say if he's a harder challenge. You know, I just know Islam wants this one. So for me, that's the challenge I want, you know, and it's the challenge that I know Islam's going to be, you know, supreme over, because I just know his skill set. I know what he brings to the table, and he brings an incredible work ethic along with skill set in every area. So, you know, Islam is a whole different animal than the Jack's ever been involved with. So if that fight does materialize, you know, we're going to see a hell of a fight, and you're going to see Islam perform at an absolute incredible level. And also, you know, the weight is not super big for him either, so he's going to be a fairly decent welterweight. So Islam won't be a small guy. He'll be a decent welterweight if that fight materializes.
Henry Cejudo predicted Islam would win and become a two-weight champion, calling it the next step in his career. Kamaru Usman backed Jack, praising his composure and saying he's capable of defending the title. Both expect the fight to happen in Abu Dhabi this October.
I think Islam Makhachev is going to beat him. I think he's going to become the 11th double champ in UFC history.
Islam tweeted, "Keep it shiny, keep it nice for me." JDM, I mean, it was kind of like the perfect comeback. He was just like, yeah, come get it.
Keep my belt clean. Okay, so the has begun, dude. That fight is set. That fight's going to take place in October, Abu Dhabi. I think we all know that. We're no longer going to get Ilya versus Islam Makhachev just now.
Gilbert Burns believes 170 is a better fit for Islam, as cutting to 155 has become harder for him. He praised Islam's skills, but warned that Jack's preparation with fighters like Volkanovski and Craig Jones could make it a close and dangerous bout.
Islam is working very hard. He's been saying vocal that he wants to go up to 170. I think he's a big boy. He killed himself to make 55. I think that's the right division for Islam. He just tweeted something after the fight that he will not vacate the title, and then he vacated the title. I don't know, but probably that was in the negotiation. Yeah, I like him moving up. I proven himself. He's #1 pound for pound right now. It's a good fight. Jack and Islam closer than people think, especially with Jack Della Maddalena doing a lot of training with Volk, with Craig Jones, those guys that kind of back the Islam on that first Volk fight. I think they're going to have a lot of info, a lot of study, a lot of answers. It's closer than people think, this fight. I really like this fight. I don't have time right now. I didn't have time to dig deep a little too much in that fight, but I think it's way closer than people think. And JDM has a clear shot on beating.
Philip Rowe believes Jack Della Maddalena would defeat Islam Makhachev, citing JDM's striking power and strong ability to get back up as key factors. He questioned whether Islam's body is built for welterweight and predicted a stoppage win for Jack due to his pressure and durability.
Philip Rowe, what's cracking, man?
Chilling.
Hey, now listen, you're welterweight. You've been in the game a long time. Islam moving up to 170. Is he big enough for 170?
My personal opinion, I don't think he is, but he's a champ. We'll see when he's there. You know what I'm saying? He has a fight. He's fighting the champ. That's the best 170 in the world right now, right? So we'll see.
So you don't think he has the size, but how do you think he does in the fight versus JDM?
I personally think JDM beats him. I think JDM will be able to get up if he does take him down. I don't think he'll be able to take JDM shots. I think personally he'll stop Islam.
Islam Makhachev acknowledged the fight wouldn't be easy, praising Jack's improvements in wrestling since joining the UFC. He credited JDM's work with grapplers for helping him become a true contender and said the matchup would reveal who the best in the world really is.
Yeah, it's gonna be a hard fight. Honestly, it's gonna be. I saw his fight against Bilal. He is good, man. He is good. When he beginning fighting in UFC, he had a problem with the wrestling, but now he's improved because I see he training a lot with the wrestlers, with the grapplers, and that's why he's a champion right now, and he's good everywhere. But we will see who is the best fighter in the world.
Yeah,
very soon.
Yeah.
And it's going very quick.
Despite dedicated strength training, Islam revealed gaining weight has been difficult, with only 2 kilograms added. He stressed building lean muscle through discipline, not overeating.
I will try to be big, you know, it's not easy, man. All my life I cut weight, but now when I want to be big, my weight stays same position, you know. I try to lift more, we do some program and like slowly, we bring 2 kg right now, but I don't want to be big by food, you know, eating and not training. I want to be with like muscles, you know. I want to training and bring some muscles.
Islam shared his dream of headlining at Madison Square Garden, calling it a place of legacy. He hopes to become a double champ there, saying it's about greatness, not money.
I asked Dana if there's some opportunity to fight in Madison Square Garden. It will be honor for me, you know, fight in the like biggest arena for MMA and boxing, like it's for like legendary arena, you know, and I will be happy to have the opportunity to fight in Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, you deserve it at least one time, Islam. I know this has been a dream. You said this before. And they have other champions they can fight in Abu Dhabi. They have Magomed Ankalaev now, so like this is your chance.
Yeah. This is my chance, and I want, you know, I know like some of the fighters, like boxing fighters, they're not fighting in Madison Square Garden for the money or just for the victory. They just fighting there for the legacy, you know. Yeah. And I also want to fight. I also want to fight there for the legacy.
How are you getting?
It's just a dream, you know, to be double champ in Madison Square Garden.
Ilia Topuria initially showed no interest in the fight, but later gave advice, suggesting Jack target Islam's body to disrupt takedowns. He praised JDM's striking and strategy, calling body shots essential to stopping a wrestler like Makhachev.
How do you think Islam Makhachev will do at 170 when he fights Jack Della Maddalena?
I don't know. I don't care, to be honest. I never thought about that, so I don't know.
I will try to be big, you know. It's not easy, man. All my life I cut weight, but now when I want to be big, my weight stays same position, you know. I try to lift more. We do some program and like slowly, we bring 2 kg right now. But I don't want to be big by food, you know, eating and not training. I want to be with like muscles, you know. I want to training and bring some muscles.
Charles Oliveira called Jack a dangerous striker who systematically breaks opponents down. He sees Islam's added size as helpful, but believes the fight depends on whether Jack can keep it standing or if Islam controls it on the ground.
O que você acha que ganha entre o Jack Della Maddalena e o Islam?
O Maddalena, ele é um jogo muito complicado, porque ele é um cara que... Ele não vem pra te nocautear rápido, ele vem te magoando, né?
Aos poucos, né?
Aos poucos. Foi o que ele fez agora no luta contra o Bilal. Só que eu acho que o Islam vai se dar muito bem nessa categoria, né, mano? Agora vai estar muito mais forte, é um jogo que, tipo, ele gosta de agarrar e botar pra baixo. Eu acho que o Jack Maddalena fazia a mesma luta que ele fez, né? Agora contra o Bilal, batendo, movimentando, saindo, machucando, é uma luta, mas se deixar o Islam agarrar e botar pra baixo, é o time.
Navajo Sterling confidently picked Jack Della Maddalena to beat Islam Makhachev, pointing to Jack's size, reach, and sharp mid-range striking as key advantages. He said these tools would make it difficult for Islam to close the distance or secure takedowns. Sterling added that Jack's physical strength could neutralize Islam's usual edge and control, and a clear loss might end any momentum for a future bout with Ilia Topuria.
You picked JDM to win. Now he's got a big challenge in his first title defense against Islam. Do you think he's got what it takes to beat an Islam Makhachev in his first defense?
People are going to say it's a wild take, but I reckon JDM smokes Islam, shins him so bad. It's going to be so bad that the Topuria Islam thing will just be gone.
So you think Islam's wrestling won't be a threat to JDM just because he's a lot bigger?
He's a lot bigger, and like when you watch JDM, like you put him on the end of mid-range, he's just going to throw. That's hard to like shoot in on. He's not going to be able to just abuse his size against him either. I think Islam's in for a rude awakening.
Sean O'Malley called Islam Makhachev versus Jack Della Maddalena a big fight, though not on the same level as a clash with Ilia Topuria. He praised Jack Della Maddalena's win over Bilal Muhammad and said it makes the matchup with Jack more compelling. O'Malley noted that if Jack stuffs takedowns and lands clean shots, the fight could be very competitive.
Islam relinquish his belt and go up to 170. Got JDM taking on Islam Makhachev.
I still think Islam's skill for skill is just
so high level. For him to go out there and do what he did against Bilal was very impressive. Made that Islam fight more interesting. If JDM can shut him down and throw those hands, but Islam's boxing is underrated. That dude is slick. His kickboxing, his timing, like he's a high level black belt in every aspect of MMA.
Big belt. Who give him that?
Jack versus Islam, I think, is huge. Not as big as Ilya versus Islam, but who knows? Maybe they both win and Islam comes back down to 55 and the fight's even bigger.
He also called Islam's move to welterweight an exciting development, saying the size difference between him and Jack won't be as big as people think. O'Malley believes Islam's all-around skills could make striking a bigger factor than expected.
How do you think Islam does at welterweight?
Who knows? I heard he's not going to be any smaller than Jack come fight night. 55 to 70, that's a little bit different than 35 to 45, 45 to 55. But when your skill level's that high as Islam's is, it'll be interesting if he goes in there and tries to shoot on Jack. Jack stuffs him and gets in his face, but Islam's striking is so underrated. Islam could put the hands on Jack too.
That's it for today's video. So what are your thoughts on this? Share your thoughts in the comment section and make sure to subscribe and like if you enjoyed the video. Also check out our other videos on the screen right now.